In the check if game over method, we start off with assigning false to the two Boolean values, player 1 has Mirza and player 2 has Mirza. If you look at the previous material or just watch the first part to this series, you'll be able to figure out the purpose of these variables. We then enter into a for loop, which looks through the entire board and checks for any squares that contain a piece. The way it does this is by using the method getPieceInSquare, which simply finds what value is inside of the piece and returns this to the variable piece_in_square. By then saying if piece_in_square is not none, we're looking to see if something is inside piece_in_square. If it is, we enter this if statement. We're examining a few things here. First, we're looking at S, which is a position on the board. We're currently examining S for square. And with this, we're using the contains_Kotler method. A quick look at the contains_Kotler method, and it's quite obvious it does what it says. It looks to see if the square contains the Kotler value, which is capital K or lowercase k. If so, it will return true. If not, it returns false. We then look to see if the type of the piece in the square is a Mirza. Finally, there's a check to see who the pieces belong to. If they do not belong to the same player, the method will return true, which will end the game. The same happens with the next two elif statements. This time it's checking which the players has the Mirza and changing that value. We then return to the play game method, which will display the board one more time using this line here. Then, using the line below, it calls the method display final result. Let's look at this final method now. Display final result is fairly straightforward. It uses simple selection statements of if, elif, and else to determine which player had the highest score, then outputs the results. And that's the end of this series on the AQA A-Level 2023 skeleton code. There's a lot to unpack here, so it's likely a lot of this did not immediately make sense to you, which is completely fine. Rewatch this video or the parts you think you understand and take your time to ensure you understood everything. There were a few areas of this code that were not mentioned here. For example, the methods that describe the movements of each move option. If you would like videos to explain these, let me know. You should expect in the exam that section D will introduce a new move option to the game. Prepare for this. One thing to help you is to consider the different pieces in a game of chess. Consider how they move. Now try to create move options that replicate the movement of the pieces in chess.